Jared Shoemaker. I am one of the owners of Pocket Aces Racing LLC. My I live in Greenup, Kentucky, but grew up in Lexington. My partner, Mark Wampler, who started this business with me 15, 16 years ago, he lives in Lexington. So we're kind of Eastern Kentucky and Central Kentucky located. If you ask my wife, she would say that it consumes my life. You can kind of see all around me here the winner's circle pictures, the derby glasses. I I grew up about 5 to 10 minutes away from Keeneland and have been going there. Started going there with my family when I was, as long as I can remember. And it was just something that was part of our lives. It's something I grew up with. I went to Lafayette High School, and I spent a lot of days out at the track when I should have been in class. And when I went to UK, I scheduled all my classes to be done by noon so I could get out to the track every day for 3 weeks in the fall and 3 weeks in the spring. It's just it is a piece of my life. It is a part of my life, and the fact that I'm able to participate as an owner it is a dream that I never thought I would be able to accomplish growing up. So it means the world to me. Everywhere else, I think racing is just an afterthought. Whereas I do feel that for so many people in the state of Kentucky, from Eastern Kentucky, there's the number of people around here, around me that that love racing and that love being, going to the track and watching it on their computers or their phone, or you know from one end of the state to the other. It's more than just an afterthought. It's what we identify with: bourbon and horse racing and basketball. I mean, it is one of the three things that is the state of Kentucky. And I don't think you see that anywhere else. Again, you get a couple weeks of it in New York at Saratoga, a couple weeks of it at Del Mar, right before it opens up. But for the state of Kentucky, I mean, and so many of us in the state of Kentucky, it's part of the fabric of the state and part of who and what we are. When we started out, we started with horses in other states, because when we started, the purse situation at Turfway Park and at Ellis Park and at Kentucky Downs, and it wasn't viable for us to start racing in Kentucky at the time. And now, with the changes that have occurred over the last few years, we're able to be here all the time, and that's where we want to be. Mark and I, we grew up in Lexington. We're Kentucky guys. We went to UK. Most of our partners are from Kentucky. They want to be around their horses. We have a lot of partners that are from other states, but when they think of Kentucky, they think of horses, and they plan their vacations around coming to Kentucky to see the horses that they're involved in. And we've got them that come from one end of the country to the other. From Canada even. I mean, we've got a ton of partners from all over the place that plan their vacations, and that their free time and their disposable income, they spend it here in Kentucky to be around the racehorses. So, being able to bring that back home, as opposed to racing in West Virginia or in Florida or somewhere else, it means the world to me, because I get to bring people in and take them around to the horse farms in Central Kentucky, and the most beautiful part of the country in the world, and get to share that with them. And it means the world to me. It's just, I love that aspect of this state, along with so many other aspects of the state. And it just that we're able to keep the vast majority of our horses here year round. It makes it so much better, and my love for it has just increased tenfold from when we started this. Right now, we've got 21 horses total. 17 of them are in Kentucky. We've got a couple that we have one New York bred that's in New York, and we've got a couple that just don't handle the polytrack surface very well, the Tapeta surface very well. So we've got them down in Louisiana, but they will all, except for the New York horse, they'll all be here, in April, end of March, 1st of April, and stay here until the end of November. So, for the most part, all of the horses are here year round. A couple of them will go south for the winter months, but even now, since the changes at Turfway, where the purses are so much better. I mean, it was almost impossible to keep horses and run at Turfway a few years ago. Now, like I said, we keep most of them here. I mean, we've got probably 8 horses up at Turfway right now, and it's just it has made life so much better to be able to have those horses here year round, where we can get our people up to see them, and we can go check on them and make sure we got them. We hired a part-time worker who's working, getting closer and closer to us having her on full-time, just because we have so many horses local, and she can go and check in on them and get pictures of them and video of them that we can share with our people. And if we didn't have them all here, I don't know that we would have any need for. But but since they're here, we're able to do that. The opportunities, the purse money, where the purses are enhanced by some sort of gaming, it's too good. And if we don't have that here in Kentucky, I can't keep all our horses here. We would probably have horses here April into May, maybe bring them back in October and November. And after that, a lot of them are going to get shipped all over the country. We'll have some of them here part of the time, but they'll just have to go someplace else, because we just can't justify running for $6,000 purses like what we've had in this state in the not too distant past. Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, Minnesota. I mean, everywhere. We would look everywhere, but a lot of them would be Ohio and Indiana for sure. They're the closest by. The purses, especially in Indiana, they're pretty competitive and pretty strong. In Ohio, which has expanded, their support of purses, they get better every single year. And you look at the racing in Ohio, the racing gets better every single year. They have fuller fields, they have better horses, and they're doing that because they're increasing their purses, and they're increasing their purses through support systems like different models of expanded wagering. We've got that in place. We can't lose it. But that's what we would have to do if we don't have that support from historical racing. We do breed some horses, and we talked at one point about breeding the horses, sending them to West Virginia, sending them to Ohio, sending them to different states where they've got these really strong programs in place. But as the purse situation in Kentucky has gotten better and better over the last few years, we didn't feel like we had to do that anymore. We keep them here. So anything that we breed, they're Kentucky breds. We're not going to send them someplace else. If the support for the industry changes, maybe that changes. But right now, we're breeding in Kentucky. I mentioned earlier, we hired somebody specifically to be able to track and follow and video and photograph the pictures or the horses that we have here in the state, which is the vast majority of them. And if they're gone, if the horses go elsewhere, she's probably out of a job because we don't have anything for her to do. Almost all the horses, I would say 95% of the horses that we have bought over the years that we've been doing this have been bought at Keeneland and Fasig-Tipton October. We buy our horses in Kentucky. We pay sales tax on all those horses. If we're going to be looking for racing in other states, we're probably going to be trying to hit some of those other sales, going down to Florida, buying more horses in Florida, going to Maryland, buying Maryland breds, but going to New York and buying New York breds, and going to Ohio and buying Ohio breds. And I mean, there's just less reason for us to invest in Kentucky bred horses if the purse support isn't there. We are buying and breeding and racing and selling in Kentucky. That's where we want to be. And I would add this, just one piece that I have found fascinating. I mentioned previously, we have a ton of partners that come in and use their vacation time and their vacation dollars, and they travel to Kentucky and they see their horses. We've got 2 partners that have joined us that didn't just come for a visit. They moved here. We have a physician, she was from Dayton, Ohio. She bought into several of our horses about 7-8 years ago. Before a year was out, she had 5 or 6 horses. And within 2 years of buying that first racehorse, she moved to Louisville. She's a physician practicing in Louisville. We have another retired teacher from Atlanta who has multiple horses with us. She loves it. She is obsessed with this game like so many of us are. Just obsessed with the horses. She loves her horses with a passion. Her husband retired. They just moved to Georgetown. So, this industry, this signature industry that so many of us depend on and count on and love so much, it's not just to people here in Kentucky. And we're bringing in people into Kentucky and sharing the beautiful state and beautiful horses and beautiful people that we have here. And we can't risk it. We can't risk it with losing historical racing.